Good morning, everyone. We're going to tackle our topic for the first quarter, week 5, which is the physical environment and population in an ecosystem. An ecosystem is a community of organisms interacting with the physical environment. It has two components, which include biotic living and abiotic non-living components. To continuously survive, organisms depend on their surroundings. In an ecosystem, organisms need a balanced environment. In a balanced ecosystem, all organisms interact successfully in a place where there is enough supply of non-living components to sustain life. The various portions of the ecosystem interact with each other. Changes to one part are impacting other parts. When all the individuals of the same species die, the place of that species in the area is lost forever. This is due to the limiting factors present in the environment. A limiting factor is a source of environment condition which limits the growth, distribution, or abundance of organisms within an ecosystem. These factors can either be biotic or abiotic. Biotic limiting factors include food, mates, and competition with other organisms for resources. Space, temperature, shelter, altitude, and amount of sunlight available in an environment are considered abiotic limiting factors. The limiting factors determine the carrying capacity of habitat. Carrying capacity refers to the maximum size of the population it can support. Biodiversity is a compound word derived from biological diversity. It refers to the variety of life in the area. Groups of different populations consist of a community. Communities with many different species. High biodiversity will be able to withstand environmental changes better than communities with only a few species, low biodiversity. An increase in biodiversity also increases the adaptability of the ecosystem to changing environmental conditions, thus increasing the population density, number of individuals in an area. This means that high biodiversity also increases the survival of organisms in an ecosystem. Many factors affect the loss of biodiversity. Low biodiversity can lead to species extinction. This includes habitat destruction, overexploitation, environmental conditions like global warming and climate change, pollution, and competition due to limited resources. When the population of a species decreases rapidly, the species is considered threatened. A species is considered endangered when its population is very low. Extinction occurs when the last members of the species die. Below are examples of endangered and threatened species in the Philippines. Figure 3, tarsier, Figure 4, Philippine eagle, and Figure 5, dugong. For Lesson 2, the environmental issues and concerns. Environmental issues and concerns, many human activities disturb the balance in the ecosystem. Examples of these are pollution, deforestation, wildlife depletion, and destruction of coastal resources. All of these result in ecological imbalance. Ecological imbalance happens when there is a disturbance which is either natural or man-made disturbance that disrupts the balance of an ecosystem. Pollution is one of the most evident environmental issues we are currently facing. Pollution is the addition of contaminants or harmful substances into a natural environment. These contaminants are considered pollutants and can damage the quality of the air we breathe and the water we drink. The major types of pollution are air and water pollution. Air pollution happens when solid, liquid, and gas particles are dispersed into the air. Both man-made and natural activities contribute to air pollution. The burning of fossil fuels, exhaust from the vehicles and factories, burning of plastics, and agricultural activities are some of the man-made activities which contribute to air pollution. Wildfires and volcanic ashes are also sources of air pollutants. Nitrogen oxides and sulfur dioxide emitted by coal plants, factories, electric power generators, and vehicles contribute to acid rain. Next, deforestation. Deforestation happens when forests are cleared to make the land available for other purposes. The problem is trees are continually cut down, including the young ones, without replacing it. The loss of habitat of other living organisms increase levels of greenhouse gases. Soil erosion and flooding are some of the effects of deforestation. In the Philippines, a practice known as the kaingin system is used by farmers for farming. In this method, the forest is set on fire to clear the area for cultivation. If the burning is uncontrolled, this will lead to forest fires. Next is wildlife depletion. One of our natural resources is the wildlife. Wildlife plays an important role in ecological balance. Among the famous Philippine wildlife is the monkey-eating eagle, which is now considered critically endangered. Hunting and trapping, taking animals for profit, killing them, and destroying their habitats through deforestation are ways on how human beings harm or destroy wildlife species. Next, destruction of coastal resources. Aside from pollution, overharvesting, the use of explosives and chemicals, and the conversion of coastal areas into resorts and residential areas greatly affect marine organisms and their habitats. Overharvesting or overfishing happens when people collect, capture, or harvest marine organisms such as coral reefs, fish, sea turtles, and other in a large quantity. On the other hand, dynamite fishing, cyanide fishing, and moray fishing, as the known illegal fishing methods used in the Philippines, kill plenty of marine animals and destroy coral reefs. These activities are very harmful and can reduce the number of marine organisms. When the population of marine organisms is reduced, the food web in a marine ecosystem is greatly affected. Coastal areas are one of the tourist attractions in the country. Because we are rich with beautiful beaches, many tourists would like to stay and enjoy their vacation with us because of its aesthetic and economic value. Coastal areas are then converted into resorts, residences, and business establishments. The increasing number of infrastructures also increases the chances of contributing pollution to large bodies of water that destroys the natural ecosystems of marine species.